Hey, what's going on YouTube? Adam C here. Thanks for watching. So maybe you've had African cichlids for a while, you really like keeping them, and you want to move on from an all-male tank or just having a few fish to trying to actively breed these fish. You're probably used to having a really nice looking tank, you take care of the water quality, the substrate, the decor, all that stuff. You really enjoy it. When you move on to breeding, you find that all that goes away. It's a whole different ballgame as far as how the fish will react in your tanks and what they will do to your tanks when they're breeding. So today I'm going to take you through 3 of my tanks where I actively have fish breeding. Not as in on camera, but like today they've been breeding. And you'll see what all 3 of these tanks have in common. You'll see what African cichlid breeding does to your tank. Here's the first tank we're going to look at. It's the 300. I have predator haps in here, Tyrannochromis, Champsochromis, Bucochromis, etc. I used to keep this tank really nice. I loved how it looked all the time, and then I started to try to breed fish in here, and though the breeding has gone successfully, this is what happens to your tanks. The larger the fish, the bigger the crater. They insist on rebuilding your substrate to their desires, whether it looks good for you or not. That's what they're going to do. So this is the Tyrannochromis nigriventer pit. There is the male. There is a holding female from today. If I fill that in, that will be emptied out again in 45 minutes, whether a female wants to breed with him or not. Moving on to this right corner, nice little pit back here. That is the pit of the Champsochromis corallius, the Malawi trout. Probably the largest fish in the tank at maybe 9-10 inches now. He wrecked it, and he doesn't even have any females that are wanting to breed with him now. But yet he still dug the whole thing out and ruined it all for me. There is another holding female in here though, but we're going to have to wait and do a Jerry Springer type DNA test whenever we get the fry out, because I don't know who the father is. And that is the Bucochromis leptyrus green. That is a large female, about 8 inches. She's got a mouthful of eggs, and I'm pretty sure I know who the father is, but I'll know for sure once these fish hit maybe an inch. But I'm pretty certain I'm going to have some pretty fairly odd and possibly really cool hybrid fry on my hands. But we'll have to wait and see on that. On to the next tank. Tank number 2 today is this 125, Lichnochromis acudiceps and a few Tyrannochromis macrostoma, though the macrostoma aren't staying in here. Same story. I get it all set up nice. In a matter of a day, this is what I come down to. We got some piles over here, got some rocks dug out, got a big mess over in here. So what was once a nicely manicured and nice looking tank, turns into chaos. But when you're breeding African cichlids, that's what you're hoping for. Unfortunately, the male is ready in here. He's the one that's been redecorating for me. But no other females, or no females at all, have seemed interested in breeding yet, but it's got to be coming soon, I have to imagine. Some of these fish are getting to a really good size to not be breeding, so I expect it shortly. Again, similar to the 300, if I fix all this and redecorate and get it all nice, give these guys 2 hours, and we're back to square one, which is basically like a child playing in a sandbox. There's holes everywhere, there's mounds everywhere, there's water splashed all over the outside of the glass where you can see the male has been doing some chasing. And there's example number 2. On to example number 3. Final tank for the day. This is a 40-gallon, and by no means are these fish staying in here that long. This is the 40-gallon that has the breeding group of Alanocara flavescent albino. Similar to the albino Taiwan reef in that they don't necessarily get red eyes, so some people refer to them as the leucistic. Got the 2 males in here. There's one, he's got some reddish eyes. There's 2, he does not. There's all their females scattered about. And I set up a nice little tank, as usual. And you can see he didn't like my design. He dug his own pit. And we have a holding female. So as a fish keeper that focuses on breeding African cichlids, having torn up substrate and a demolished tank is a very, very good thing. If you're hoping to breed African cichlids and every day you come and look at your tank and the substrate's looking amazing just how you left it the day before, that means you're not really getting any breeding activity. So even though you might not have your dream look tank if you're breeding African cichlids, but if your purpose is breeding them and your tank looks like a hot mess every single day as far as the substrate goes, you're probably doing a really, really good job at breeding your African cichlids. And don't mind that hideous piece of fake log. All that is, that's just a that's a pleco tube that all these little baby plecos in here hang out in during the day. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Of all of you that keep, all male tanks and you have a nice substrate all the time, or for you that you're breeders, you do the same thing that I do and you get the same effect that I get. What are your thoughts? Does it bother you? Does it not bother you? I'm always interested to know your opinion. It doesn't bother me, but I started in this hobby, like I said, a little over a decade ago as far as Malawi cichlids. And for the first few years, it was all about getting every piece of sand just how I liked it. And having the tank look 100% every single day. And breeding African cichlids takes you as far away from that as you can possibly be. So if you're breeding African cichlids and your fish are healthy, you can count on having chaos in your tank design every single day of the week. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.